Hey, if you're new to the channel, Real Talk is not Boundary Break. Boundary Break does happen at least once or maybe twice a week, but videos like these don't happen quite as often. So if it's not for you, feel free to ignore it. But Real Talk is just basically taking you through the journey that I'm going through as a YouTuber. And I have to admit, this particular episode has me the most nervous I've ever felt. Because one thing that everyone always tells you is, when you find the video that people enjoy, do not do other types of videos. And the success that the channel's been getting recently is something that I don't want to see end. But if I don't do this episode, it would have made this entire side series completely pointless. Because something I always want to know when I'm watching all these YouTubers is how did they get so successful? Well, let me explain my situation the best that I can. So back in October, I released Resident Evil 4 as a Boundary Break episode, and it actually didn't do that great. It did okay. It got around 7,000 views, which is probably pretty good by a lot of people's standards, but I've seen videos on Boundary Break make as much as 20,000 views when they're really good. So for Resident Evil 4, it was kind of a moderate success. I had already moved on to the next episode, which was BioShock, and that did even worse. But then all of a sudden, while BioShock was still kind of new, Resident Evil 4 started getting a lot of views. A lot compared to other older videos, getting around 300 views per hour. Of course, I had to take it to Twitter and everywhere else and say, hey, is somebody sharing my video? I'd like to thank who's ever pointing people my way. And what it turned out to be was it was just people getting recommendations on the homepage of YouTube. And then what became 300 views an hour became 500 views an hour. And what became 500 views an hour became 600 views an hour. It would fluctuate here and there, but ultimately it just kept going up, and up. Suddenly it was getting like 800 views an hour. And this was constantly throughout the day. I couldn't really explain it. I didn't understand why this was happening. And the success that I was getting off of this video was actually kind of messing up some plans that I had, which was to have a 10,000 subscriber special, which was Super Mario 64. Now that couldn't be better timed, I suppose, because I did manage to get out Super Mario 64 before I hit 11,000 subscribers, but this weird traffic from Resident Evil 4 was still going. And so I think that everybody who was watching Resident Evil 4 was then alerted about Super Mario 64, which is a high-profile game. Everybody loves Super Mario 64, so there was a good chance that a lot of the people who watched the Resident Evil 4 video would want to move on to Mario 64. And so now these two videos are doing incredibly well at the same time, which I think made YouTube very happy, and so it just introduced even more people to my channel. And I was really hoping to be able to put out Pokemon Stadium, because that's another huge series that a lot of people would have wanted to see. Unfortunately, I do need to address this real quick. Pokemon Stadium has the same issue as Banjo-Kazooie, where absolutely everything was going wrong, nothing would have worked correctly, and the episode would have suffered greatly. So it just wouldn't have been a very entertaining episode, and I was really disappointed because, trust me, I want to put out more Pokemon content, because there's a lot of Pokemon fans that want to see this stuff. But I saw this as an opportunity, I guess. If there's so many people watching the Super Mario 64 video right now, why not give them a Mario Kart episode? That's a pretty easy transition to the next video. So I got to work on a Mario Kart episode, and when I put that video out, the traffic was enormous. The amount of people who watched the Mario Kart episode is about 1,000 an hour. And then all of a sudden, I have 5,000 an hour. And then I see in one of my comments that they were recommended here by Kotaku. Kotaku? Kotaku just featured one of my videos? What? I have no idea who tipped them off, if anybody tipped them off, but Mike Fahey from Kotaku featured one of my videos. And of course, the traffic on the video exploded after that. Like I said, I was getting like 6,000 an hour, 7,000 an hour, and then My Nintendo News featured the video. I couldn't concentrate at work. I could not focus whatsoever on my office job because what in the world just happened, you know? All of a sudden, things are picking up really fast. It's insane. And then A+ Start, who's basically the Glitch King, he does the series Son of a Glitch, has been messaging me and letting me know that he's happy for me and everything. And that's a person that I idolized. That's a person that I never, ever expected would reach out to me. And then he mentioned me on Twitter. It's all so much at once. It's insane. I nearly fainted from all the excitement. It was just incredibly surreal. And now the unfortunate price of fame is that I can't keep up with the comments anymore. What happens is every few minutes I'm getting at least 5 to 6 comments, and I just can't keep up. I always thought that I would answer every single comment I ever got, but now I start to understand why so many YouTubers just kind of give up altogether. Now I refuse to give up altogether. I'm going to respond to as many comments as I feel I can, because I appreciate every person who takes the time to watch my videos, regardless of where I'm at. But I am realizing at this point that I just can't do it anymore. I just can't reply to nearly every single comment, which I guess is a great problem to have. But again, it just gives me that perspective as to why every time I try to reach out to a YouTuber, I'd get nothing as a response. It makes sense to me now. So a lot of you might be thinking, well, you got a whole lot of views. Are you happy now? And yeah, I mean, Of course I'm happy. But one of the messages that I had early on when I was doing YouTube was it was never going to be about the money. And a lot of money should be coming in December. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I could probably buy like a new camera or something like that, something to do with the show. But I think I have an even better idea. I think what I'm going to do, and I can't promise how many shirts I'm going to do, but when I receive the ad revenue for December, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put aside a large sum of that money to buy Boundary Break t-shirts for everybody. Because I noticed that a lot of people wanted shirts, but I don't think it was really that viable of an idea to sell them. I might sell them someday, but I'll be entirely honest, I'd much rather give them away. And it's looking like right now that it's not the dumbest idea in the world to at least give back to you guys to some extent and give you some free stuff. So in December, as a holiday or Christmas gift, I plan to buy a bunch of Boundary Break t-shirts and give them out to you guys. And when I have those shirts, I will provide a link in my Twitter account and the next video. Now I have to be honest with you guys, if this momentum continues, if I'm allowed to put out a video and receive a livable wage off of ad revenue alone, I might start changing my lifestyle. I may actually dedicate 8 hours a day, full time, to Boundary Break. But I want to give this gift to show you all that this wasn't a business venture. This really was something to give back to all of you. And if the momentum does stop, then that one moment where everything went well for She Says was essentially given back to the community that made him that way. So everyone, thank you very much. There was no fan art all this time, so if you want to send me something, feel free to send it to my email account. The next episode will be Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, and I hope all of you enjoy it. Everyone, thank you so much. I will see you all very soon in the next Boundary Break. Take care.